Howdy folks, welcome back to another video. This week I'm a little bit excited because I'm trying Posca pens for the first time. Not one pack, but two. Do you like my magic trick? So I got these from Hobbycraft in the half price art sale, I think. Paid about £9-ish for them when they're normally in their 20s. I got the standard pack and the pastel pack because I wanted a bit of variation. Now, we're going to be painting on, or is it drawing on, a little bit of wood. Again, super cheap from Hobbycraft. I think they're about £2.50. Nice and thin, but, you know, ideal for this. And I'm excited to get started. Before I go any further, I just wanted to talk to you about these. I've been swatching them and they're lovely. They're opaque. They're great. But I noticed these purples were very similar. One came in the pastel pack and the other one was a standard. And then the yellow standard and the straw yellow were also very similar. I scribbled next to it and you can't see that much of a difference. Might not even show up on camera. So I was curious with these purples and just checked what they were called. So on the standard pack we've got the black, the green, the blue, light blue? No, I've got purple, not light blue. So I thought that was a bit odd. And then I looked at the front and made sure that it said anything, and it said, you know, standard colours, medium, yeah, that's fine, 1.8, 2.5. And then looked at the back and it says 8 fine. Okay, so I don't really know what's going on with the packaging here. Maybe that's why they were reduced, but other than that, the pens work fine. So let's get on with it. The astute among you might have realised that I swapped the circle for an oval here. And that's just because I'd had a design idea in my head that suited the oval a little bit better. However, I wish I'd have thought a bit more about my design because I'm drawing a fox here and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll make him orange, and I didn't have an orange. And then I draw a bunch of like twiggy leaves and things, and I thought, yeah, browns for the twigs, it'd be all nice, and didn't have a brown either, so my fox is red, which is fine, you know, they're called red foxes for a reason, right? But the pens themselves on the wood worked really well. I did gesso the wood first, which is why it's slightly paler than the one you saw before. I put a really thin layer on just because I've watched a couple of people use Posca pens on wood before and talk about the fact that they can sometimes bleed into the wood grain, so I wanted to minimise that whilst keeping some of the grain visible. So it's only a thin layer of gesso I put down. But the colours that I had ended up working really well for this little fox. I think the red actually looks really nice, and this, I think it's called beige, worked nicely for his eyes and chin and inner ears. I did toy for a second about putting his inner ears pink, but I thought, nah, just go for this. And then for some reason I'd put a little scarf on him. I don't really know why. I think it's because it's cold and miserable and wintry at the moment, and I just felt the need to bundle up. And before I knew it, it was time to get into the freehanding on this piece, which made me a little bit nervous at first because I like to sketch, but I wanted to sketch as minimally as possible because this piece is actually really inspired by the artist Mira Byler. And if you haven't heard of her, I'll leave a link in the description. You should really check her out because her folk art pieces look so relaxing to do, and she freehands a lot of it. I know she might plan them in advance a few times, but when you watch her videos and you watch her doing these folk art and the pieces just kind of come to life in front of your eyes, it's so relaxing, and I wanted to try and do that for myself. I thought, you know what, pressure's off, haven't got to follow any lines, I'm just freehanding it here. So that's what I did, and it was as relaxing as it looks. I just kind of zoned out. This whole piece I think I was working on for about 40 minutes or so, but it didn't feel like it because I was just really chilled whilst I was doing it. So I've tried to leave in as much of the footage in as close to real time as possible, just so you can try and get that relaxing feeling with me. I hope it works because when I feel relaxed watching it, but then I remember I was relaxed creating it. But yeah, as I said before, Mira Byler There's a lot of beautiful folk art pieces, her moths, and she did this really nice piece that stays in my mind of this big kettle that was surrounded by foxes actually. And I thought I really wanted to have a go at that. And I'm really pleased that I did. And so I'm pleased that I found her channel to be able to find this style of artwork to have a go at, because I think it is something I will revisit just because of how chilled it made me feel. One thing that I wish was different about this piece is the colour palette. I mean, I did buy the standard and the pastel because I thought, right, that's probably going to be all the colours I needed. But I really did miss like those earthy toned colours, like the browns and the oranges, and even like a couple of muted greens would have been nice. But I think I did okay with what I've got. It's colourful and it's fun, and I'm going to use it as a teapot stand. Just going to get some gloss varnish on it, and then I think it'll work quite nicely. So yeah, the process was just basically filling all of the areas that you could with different shapes. I went back into a couple of them and added lines like I am on this green one here. I do the same to the blue leaves I put down. And it is just fun to watch it all come to life. I can see why Mira Byler does stuff like this. I decided I'd try and add a bit more of the fox colours into the outside area because it just kind of stood out at the moment. So I put in a bunch of red berries, and I think that really helped. I also then used the light orange, the beige, that I used in his ears to do a few more leaves later on, and it really does help to just kind of tie the whole piece together. It kind of gives me a bit of an autumn feel rather than winter, which, you know, we're in winter, but I'll fix that. I'll do a winter piece soon. I am already working on one, but it's whether or not I'll have it finished for next week. Fingers crossed, folks, because it's quite fun. Putting these dots in these berries was super satisfying. Like, it just made them look so much better. I love putting highlights on things. It's like when I do my dragons and I put that little highlight in the eye. This bit legitimately terrified me. I don't know why. I just was really worried that it was going to look rubbish. I've never done anything like this before, but I knew this was the style I wanted to do. Put these little dashes. I've seen this used so much, and again, I wanted the fox that I wanted to do in my son's nursery, I wanted to do this with. And I'm glad I did it because it turned out looking okay, but I agonised for ages as to whether I wanted to do anything with the ears, and eventually, no. I think if I'd have had some brown there, I would have probably done the tips of the ears in like a darker brown. But again, I wished I had an orange here because I just wanted to add a bit of like plaid to the scarf, but never mind. And there's me going in with that beige to just add a few more leafy shapes. It's just a case of filling space at this moment, which it's starting to look quite busy, and I was glad because when I first started it I thought, oh, it looks so empty, it's going to look really weird. And then threw in a few more purple berries because I liked that purple. So again, something you can do to kind of spice up the leaves is put some like dots or stripes and things like that in them, and I decided to sort of do a reversal of the fox on those leaves, so they're beige leaves with red stripes. And then I thought I'd try and put a white outline around the whole thing. I like it. It's super subtle though, so it might not show up terribly well on camera, but it looks quite good in real life. And then, as well as that, I decided to put a few more kind of white bits in the background. After, of course, I put the highlights in all my purple berries. These might be quite tricky to see on camera, but again, they're super subtle, but I really like it, and it just kind of filled in those little gaps that were left. But as I was working on this bit, I thought I need to tie in the red a bit more. So I decided to go around the entire beveled edge with my red Posca pen. And I'm actually super glad that I did, because it really does bring the whole thing together. And here we are at the final product. I'm super happy with it, guys. I think adding the red border really helped. I think it's cute, and I was super relaxed when I made it, so I'd say mission accomplished. I think my teapot will look very happy on this. So my verdict on Posca pens? Yeah, I like it. I get a thumbs up from me. And speaking of a thumbs up, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried folk art or Posca pens. If you hit that subscribe button, I will love you forever. And that's it for now, so until next week, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye!